Pues gente, vamos a reaccionar a la 3.3, que espero que sea genial. Gente, 36 segundos para saber si viene ya el banner de Scaramouche a casita. ¿Actualizo? ¿Ya está? Le licó. No, me has liado, Gladio. No, que quedan 20 segundos. 18, 17, 16, 15, 13, 12, 11, 10. A mí no me sale. ¡Ay! ¡Ya está!
I'm Max Middleman, and this is the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program.
Vale.
Let's roll the version 3.3 trailer.
Vamos a ver el tráiler de la 3.3.
A friendly word of advice. Test of courage events tend to give rise to a variety of strange rumors and stories. So please, be sure to exercise caution.
¡Joder! Lo digo muy alto.
Were you scared? Who goes there?
So, is there really a ghost around here? Why this time I have a feeling that it's staring right at us? Are you?
Se vendrá Jutao. Si vais viendo, tiene que venir Jutao.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me.
From this day forth, Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Dottore. Dottore! In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
¡Wow! ¡Por favor!
Squall and Fury.
¡Qué vuela, chaval! Mira. Patada en la boca. Me representa este personaje. ¡Oh! Faruzan.
Dare to mess with me?
Qué bonita es, ¿eh? La N es muy bonita.
Too late for regret. Have fun with this gift.
Scaramouche, the mere fact of your utility
Se está
does
enfrentando
not
a sí
make
mismo.
you indestructible.
Wow. O sea, ¿qué? What is happening? Gente, primer código de protogemas. Acabo de flipar con el tráiler. O sea, no he entendido nada. Ahí donde lo veis, no he entendido nada. Lo voy a ir poniendo en el bot, ¿vale? What? O sea, me parece brutal. Yo también los voy a canjear porque necesito las protos. Como buena free to play, como buena ballena reformada que soy. Una ballena reforme. Reformed ballenita. Corred todos a reclamarlo, ¿eh?
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program.
Hola,
I'm your
Lumine.
host, Sarah Miller-Cruz, the voice of Lumine in Genshin Impact. And today, I'm joined by...
Max, the one and only Middleman, voice of the one and only Arataki Ito.
And I'm Patrick Pedraza, voice of the Wanderer. But up until now,
Ay, me
travelers
encanta.
have only known me as Scaramouche, and everyone's been battling me in the game lately.
Yeah, that's true. But, to be fair, it's a really cool fight.
It's a really cool fight.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm super excited to have the chance to share some upcoming content with everyone.
Vale, va a enseñarnos el contenido que va a venir. Me parece perfecto.
Okay, so I definitely saw Irminsul in there, and I am really excited to find out more about it.
Yeah, that trailer had everything. It had everything. It had action. It had drama. It was lighthearted and places
Tiene de todo.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just super stoked for everyone to see Scaramouche's, like, backstory. I'm super excited about it for reals.
Heck yeah.
Well, speaking of that, following the story's development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's custody. So I bet the question everyone's wanting to know is how he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a
Wanderer.
story behind that. If you're interested, then be sure to play through
Chicos,
the
hombre,
Archon
no,
Quest
don't know.
interlude chapter in version of Genesis. There is so much to learn in this quest, so I hope everyone checks it out.
Oh,
A ver.
come on, man. You can't just leave everyone hanging like
Ito
that.
me
What's your
encanta su
hints?
voz en inglés.
Come
Creo
on,
que es una
please,
pasada.
please.
All right. How can I say no to a cute chibi Ito?
You can't.
Here's a little preview from the quest.
We ran into two people at the academia today talking about an essay.
Un árbol.
Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Pero vamos con Scaramouche. O sea, este árbol es mejor.
One thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
¿De quién es esta voz?
Pretty rad.
Wait,
¿De quién
why
es
are
esa
they talking
voz?
about Tatarasuna?
Ahí no iba
I
de
guess
azul
we'll
Scaramouche.
see.
Ay, no me he
It is
fijado.
interesting, though, to see the Traveler,
Era
Nahida,
de
and
Nahida.
Scaramouche all together so peacefully.
Claro,
like
como
that.
yo la tengo en japonés,
But
no la he
in this interlude
reconocido.
chapter, Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some information.
Oh, interesting. So obviously Nahida must have some reason for deciding to keep Scaramouche around.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I'm liking Scaramouche's new style.
No reconocemos, yo también lo tengo en
Looking
japonés. Claro.
sharp.
Heck yeah, always. No. Right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name, the Wanderer. I love that name.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who's curious about what happened. I mean, it looks like he's really changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But
El arte del fondo es precioso. Pero os fijáis lo que lleva, ¿no? Es un Scaramouche sujetando otro
I mean,
Scaramouche.
it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True, true.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, we'll leave the rest for travelers to discover themselves.
Claro.
But the Wanderer is also going to be a new playable character in version 3.3. So let's
Voy a
talk
ponerlo aquí
about
debajo.
that. I'm sure many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Hombre, pues claro que
Sure
sí.
thing. Let's have a look at the Wanderer in combat.
Vale, a ver qué hace en combate. Me encanta, lo
There's
necesito
no
saber.
need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy
Me
silence.
encanta. Mira,
Wind
patadas
rises.
voladoras, chaval. Te revienta la boca. Me encanta.
Bow your head.
¿Soy yo? En plan, a chuparla, cerdos. Me encantó. Me encantó.
All right, Patrick,
Me
you're up.
encanta. Es un shotacón pero de
Sure
manual.
thing.
Me
The
encanta, me
Wanderer is a
encanta, tío, me
catalyst user and
encanta.
has an animovision, so he uses
Vale.
wind blades to perform ranged normal attacks.
Vale.
Wait a second, wind blades?
Not the same as the
O sea, lo que
Traveler's
hace es
wind blades.
con,
Okay.
va
So,
creando
as everyone probably already noticed, the
como...
Wanderer can hover in the air when he casts his elemental skill. Upon using his elemental skill, he will first deal AoE damage before leaping into the air and entering a hovering state. So,
Hostia.
while hovering, the Wanderer's normal end charge attacks will be converted into Kugo, Fushudan, and Kugu Tofukai respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased. Their
sea,
damage will be
vale, ahora os
considered
lo explico
normal
para
and
los que no
charge
sepan
attack
inglés.
damage, respectively. Also,
Vale.
Kugu Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he can remain hovering for a certain duration.
Vale, o sea, él puede atacar desde el suelo, ¿vale? Con... Los llamaremos con los
But
cortes de
he
aire.
can't stay hovering
Pero también lo
forever.
puede hacer
While
volando.
hovering,
Esto no le va a
the
gastar
Wanderer
estamina
constantly
mientras está en
consumes
el aire,
Kuryoku
¿ves?
points to maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if he doesn't move or attack, hovering will still consume Kuguryoku points.
Vale, que eso que
So
carga es
this
otro
mechanic
tipo
works
de...
a little differently than
No
our
es la
typical
estamina
stamina.
normal, es lo que
There
usa
are
con la
many possible
elemental,
actions
¿vale?
the
Con la
wander
elemental
can
podríamos
perform
volar
while hovering
y
in
el
the air,
daño
which all
de las
rely on
patadas
Kuguryoku points
aumentará
rather than stamina.
cuando
So,
estemos en el
for
aire.
example, sprinting mid-air will consume additional Kuguryoku points to accelerate mid-air, and holding the sprint button will cause persistent point consumption to maintain speed. So this effect will replace his default sprint. Jumping expends extra Kuguryoku points to increase hovering height. Holding jump
Me
will
parece
cause persistent
guapísimo.
Kuguryoku point consumption to keep increasing hovering height. Of course, running out of points will end his hovering state.
Oh, okay. So travelers will need to plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly.
Me parece
so,
una
with his
pasada,
talent, Jade Claim Flower, when casting his elemental skill, if it contacts Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, that instance of the skill will receive a corresponding buff effect depending on which element was contacted. So, for example,
Ostra.
increasing his Kuguryoku points cap, attack, crit rate, or restoring a set amount of energy upon hitting opponents with a normal or charged attack. The Wanderer can have up to two different kinds of these buffs simultaneously.
¡No! Yo no le iba a meter más dinero al juego. ¿Qué han
Part of the
hecho?
halo behind him changes color depending on the buffs you get. So travelers will be able to easily understand what effects the Wanderer currently has.
Es que estás
I like
troleando
that.
si no tiras por
It's
este
helpful
personaje,
and
tío.
still looks really cool.
Yeah.
So, after unlocking another talent, Gales of Reverie, when the Wanderer is in a
Encima,
hovering
o
state,
sea-
if his normal or charged attack hits an enemy, there is a set chance to gain another buff effect, allowing him to
O sea, te
sprint
bufas.
mid-air
Cuando lo mezclas
without
con un
consuming
elemento te
Kuguryoku
bufas.
points.
O sea, es que es para flipar.
Additionally, this buff effect will fire wind arrows to attack the enemy.
Oh, dope. I'm sure extra buff
Vale.
effects like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure. And if
Me
you
gustan los
noticed,
Anemo Boys
there's a
todos,
colorful aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
Saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
Alright, this brings us to the Wanderer's Elemental Burst.
Sweet.
Yay!
So, check this out.
Eres una
Upon
troll,
unleashing
Carly.
his burst, he compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So, travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this stomping animation is a little aggressive.
Yeah, but it's cool.
I
Es
know,
muy
and it
guay,
actually suits
tío.
his character.
Yeah, I can't help but agree.
Es muy guay.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Ah, yes.
A ver.
This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease the mora required when ascending bows and catalysts.
Hey, now, you can never complain about saving more.
O sea, te reduce la mora
that's
cuando
true.
subes las cosas.
All right, now that we've seen the Wanderer, let's move on to the next new character. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yay!
Me parece brutal.
What did you say? Oh, I'm old now, so every other phrase escapes my ears. Try calling me Madam Farozan, and I'll see if I can pick that up.
Uy. Es muy bonita, ¿eh? Es muy, muy
What is it that you'd like to learn
bonita.
more about? Different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms? The base layer design of
Me
elemental
recuerda un poco
monuments?
al Doctor Strange, ¿no? Con...
Wait. Did you forget to call me Madam Farozan just now when you asked your question? Whoa! What? There's nothing wrong with being afraid of thunder, even at an older age.
Oh, she sounds
Oh.
sassy.
Yeah, and smart too.
She seems so awesome.
She's fun.
Es muy guay Faruzan también, ¿eh?
I wonder what
Es
her
que no puede
shirt's
ser.
I know,
No
her
puede ser.
design is so cool and really detailed. I love it.
So, even
La
though she
ballena
looks super
reforma,
young,
no
she's
puedo.
actually an old person?
Soy una ballena, pero no soy nada reformed.
Well, she's not that old.
I
Oh,
don't know,
right.
could've fooled me.
Faruzan's age is probably still nothing compared to Scaramouche.
But let's call him the Wanderer, Sarah.
No me sale de ese que
you
no
know
tengo
who I
4
meant.
estrellas. Yo no tengo
Actually, now
Laila,
that
¿eh?
I think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right, yeah, no, and speaking of age, isn't the traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
That's true.
Que esta chica dice en plan de que
All
es
of our
mayor,
characters
¿no?
are
Que es
intriguing.
vieja. Me
But
representa.
it's safe to say that Faruzan is way older than most people in Tibet. Faruzan works in
Es
the
que
academia
la
of
isla está muy
Sarabatak
rota, tío,
Darshan,
pero
and has been a
no...
hairbod, which
no hay
roughly
protos.
means mentor for over a century.
So I bet everyone out there is wondering if she's also some kind
Volverá,
of creature
la isla
blessed with
volverá.
long life, you know? Like Klee?
No, she's actually just your regular.
Es verdad que esta
typical
era
human being.
elfa,
Well,
como
maybe
Klee.
not so typical.
Esta es como elfa
About
también.
100 years ago, Faruzan was an undisputed genius, traveling
O sea,
all
hace
around
100
Sumeru
años
and solving
era
many
un
puzzles
genio.
and mysteries. The notes she left behind eventually became the basis of mechanical research for later generations.
Vamos, que es una
Sounds
genio de la
pretty
tecnología.
amazing.
But later, she accidentally stumbled into some ruins while trying to solve a puzzle. There, she encountered some strange phenomenon which stopped her from aging, and was trapped there for nearly 100 years. She eventually solved the puzzle and was able to finally return to Sumeru.
Me encanta
Can you
Ito.
imagine
Reaccionamos
being
igual,
trapped
es
in
mi
a puzzle
espíritu
for
animal.
100 years? Wait. So that's how she's been.
Claro, también es
hairbod
anemo.
for
Es
over
que
a
no sé qué tengo
century.
yo con los anemo,
Yeah.
tú.
And even now, she still has the pride of a scholar in her heart and is a very talented person. It's just that after being separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh, hey, I get what you mean.
Se viene cosplay,
She
se viene
was
cosplay de
once a proud
esta.
researcher in
Esta
a
es muy
niche field
guapa,
that
¿eh?
has
Ya que
become
no ha llegado el de
unpopular
Yan y el de
after 100
Yelan,
years.
tendremos que
So,
sustituirlo.
Is she still completely dedicated to her field?
Yep.
Porque los
And she
anemos hay que
often tries using her
protegerlos y a los
old
otros hay
age
que
as a means of
quererlos.
drumming up
Lo
support
veo.
for her ideas. However, I think she'd prefer to be complained about for using her seniority rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right?
Vaya, vaya.
Okay, so
La nueva
now that
estafa.
we've covered her backstory,
Hola,
why
Elvis.
don't we take a look at Faruzan's abilities in combat?
Let's do it.
Fight.
100 years have passed. Yet there
A
haven't
ver,
been any
ellos le han puesto con el
jump
último
over
acorde.
academia.
Vamos a ver qué tal sus habilidades. Bueno, no está mal, es un torbellino que atrae. Y se va moviendo entre enemigos la ulti, veo.
I love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
No está mal,
Yes,
¿eh?
there's so much geometry, and I took geometry.
No está nada
It looks
mal.
so cool.
Ah, yeah.
So Faruzan is an animo character, and she wields a bow as her weapon. Her normal attacks are the usual bow attacks you'd expect from a bow user, so there's not too much to say about that. But her skills are where things get interesting. Her elemental skill deploys a polyhedron that deals damage to enemies. After using her skill, her next aimed shot will become a special attack that creates a vortex, pulling nearby objects and opponents in.
Oh, nice. So she can clump enemies together.
And there's also another thing about her special charged attack. It will create a vortex effect at its point of impact. And if
pues
the
está
attack
bien.
hits an enemy or ally member, it'll apply a mark and create a vortex after a short delay.
Okay. So it looks like there will be a lot of potential uses for this attack. Travelers will have to experiment with
Hombre,
it
está
and
muy
see what they
bien,
come up with.
¿eh?
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to try hitting teammates with the arrow in co-op
O sea,
mode and have them
con un
charge
ataque
into the enemies
cargado
to
ya
group
crea un
them all together.
remolino, ¿eh?
I'll
Está
have to see
muy
who wants
bien,
to try
¿eh?
that with me. After unlocking the talent Impetuous
Mira.
Flow, the time required for fully charging Faruzan's next shot will be reduced, and the
Está
arrow
muy
will
bien,
reduce
¿eh?
the target enemy's animo resistance. In her
Y
elemental
encima
ability,
reduce
she deploys
la
a
resistencia de los
dazzling
enemigos. Es que
polyhedron
creo que va a ser muy
and
buen
releases a
support, ¿eh?
whirlwind pulse. Throughout its duration, the dazzling polyhedron will continuously move along a triangular path. Once it reaches each corner of that triangular path, it will unleash one more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's polygon.
Yo creo que va a ser muy buen
100
personaje, ¿eh?
years. Bada boom.
No.
Creo que la reduce ella, ha dicho.
Even Sino's jokes are funnier than that.
It was pretty
All
funny.
right. Anyway, let's hear what effects these whirlwind pulses have.
Sure. When
Vale.
the whirlwind pulse hits opponents, it will decrease their animo resistance. It will also apply an animo damage buff effect to all nearby party members when it's unleashed. Travelers should note that the effective range of this buff is quite large, and it's not just within the whirlwind pulse itself. So there's
Claro,
no
es que
need
si
to
cuando
go
esto
twisting the
hitea, por
polyhedron.
ejemplo, a los main Xiao, este personaje le va
After
súper
unlocking
bien.
her talent, Lost
Porque
Wisdom
si
of
lo
the
que te hace
Seven Caverns,
reducirte
when
la
a team
resistencia
member
Nemo, con
uses
Xiao te va
normal
súper
charge
bien.
or plunging attacks, elemental skills, or elemental bursts to deal animo damage to an enemy, the damage will increase based on Faruzan's base attack. This effect can only be triggered once for a certain duration of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid support.
Yeah.
Totally! And as a researcher of mechanics and puzzles, Faruzan has taken it upon herself to explore many ruins, with her travels taking her all across Sumeru. Her exploration talent reflects this.
Ah, mira.
And she gains more rewards when dispatched on a Sumeru expedition for 20 hours.
Eso está
I'm
bien.
sure no other
Ya
mentor
sabemos a
in
quién pondremos
Haralatat
en
has
Sumeru.
100 years of experience in solving puzzles.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's pretty hard to beat. So, the big question is, when can travelers expect to get these new characters?
That is a good question. Let's talk about the upcoming event wishes. In the early part of version 3.3, the Wanderer and Arataki Ito will be available via their own event wishes. Faruzan will also be making her debut.
¡Viene primero!
In the later part of version 3.3, we'll be seeing rerun event wishes for both the Raiden Shogun and Kamisato Ayato.
Se viene, ¿eh?
And last but not least, the new 5-star catalyst, Tule Tule's Remembrance, will be appearing in a new weapon event wish.
And that's not all. In version 3.3, 2 brand new artifact series will become available.
Se viene,
so travelers should be sure to
No
check
se
out
puede
the
ahorrar,
corresponding
tío.
domain.
Woo! More artifacts!
All right.
I hope travelers will have fun
Nuevos
experimenting
Artefactos.
and trying new combinations with these.
Yeah.
Okay, we've already talked about a ton of new content, so
Anemo,
why don't we take a quick
hostia.
break with another redemption code.
Sounds good. Roll out the code.
Este es de Scaramouche 100%. Segundo código. ¡Ay, qué bonita la imagen! Y el otro decía algo de Bloom, ¿eh? La imagen es preciosa, gente. Lo que sí que os digo es que... vaya locura. Scaramouche me parece una locura. Su gameplay. Os lo digo de verdad, ¿eh? Me parece muy, muy locura. Vale, gente, si ponéis exclamación códigos os van saliendo, ¿vale? Me veo con el nombre del arma. No me he dado cuenta cómo se llamaba.
Welcome back to the version 3.3 special program. Okay, Patrick, what do we have next?
So
Vale.
next, we'll be covering the upcoming events for the new version.
That's
Vale.
right. We've already mentioned the test of courage.
Nos van a dar
event,
una
and I'm
espada.
sure plenty of you
Está
were
muy
wondering
bien.
about that, so let's start there.
¿Y qué nos da esta espada?
Aha! You must be here to participate in the test of
Ojalá
courage.
hubiera venido rerun de
I can already
Jutao
see a
aquí,
dark
Pega
aura
mucho un
surrounding the two
rerun de
of you.
Jutao.
If you carelessly go running into the event, all it'll take is one little misstep, and the darkness will swallow you up. Some strange and unusual things may occur along the way.
Aquí con todos los fantasmas, un rerun de Jutao entraba
You may
fino, ¿eh?
withdraw from the event at any time. This is your last chance. I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the test of courage. Enter at your
Vamos a hacer
own
una prueba de
risk.
coraje.
That was pretty
Bueno,
interesting.
rewards están bien, como siempre, protogemas, ¿vale? Y tendremos una espada. Hay que ver qué tal es la espada que nos
It is a test
dan.
of courage, so I'm sure there'll be some scary stuff going on there.
I ain't scared.
Espada Yonkai.
Anyway,
Tiene pinta,
To
¿eh?
successfully clear this event, we'll be facing a series
Tiene
of little
pinta.
tests.
Un paraguas.
What's this? Tests, you say?
Yes, that's right. Word has it that if you walk around the test of courage, you might find yourself encountering a special sort of game. We've already got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction. Basically, travelers will have to control a bouncing bar to bounce
Lol.
a ball and use skill ball effects
Ah, esto
to
está
break
guapo.
as many bricks as possible.
A ver, este es un minijuego que está guapo, ¿no?
Straightforward.
During the game, travelers will be able to trigger elemental reactions to break bricks more effectively.
Nice.
Claro, tienes que pillar el
Maybe there's
rojo
elemental reactions.
para romper el hielo más
We can
pronto o
control
el
the
suyo
character to
propio.
move the bar.
Claro, así
When
lo
the character
congelas.
we're using is either pyro, hydro, cryo, or electro,
muy bien, ¿eh?
the corresponding element will be applied to the bar.
Me gusta,
By
esto
switching
me
characters,
gusta.
You can change the element of the bar.
Okay, all the pieces
Es una
are falling into
chorrada,
place
¿vale?
now. The bar can
Pero es un
infuse
juego
a
que
certain
en verdad es
element,
divertido.
but blocks
Tendrían
also
que
have
dejar
their
como una
own
serie de
elements,
minijuegos en
so
Genshin que se
causing a
quedaran para
skill ball of
siempre,
one
¿sabes?
element to hit
Es la
blocks
primera
with
vez que lo
different
ponen. Me
elements will
parece que
trigger
desde la
elemental
versión
reactions.
anterior
There,
están
how'd I do?
innovando bastante los
Yep, you nailed
minijuegos.
it. The bar will
parece
add
bien.
the element corresponding to your character. Besides triggering reactions the way you just mentioned, if a skill ball is already infused by an element
Oh,
and it
ha
hits the
perdido esa
bar,
bola, ¿eh?
it will also trigger a reaction. causing the skill ball to have some additional effects.
¡Oh!
When
Podía
preparing
disparar.
your team, you
¿Os
can
habéis
equip
quedado?
modifiers to receive various buff effects, which will help you successfully clear the challenge.
Oh, nice.
Also, when there are less than a certain amount of bricks on the board, and the ball
A ver
lands
este juego, a mí me
another
gustaba
hit,
mucho
the
en
bar
su
will
día.
unleash fireworks.
Ah, que puedes disparar, loco.
Travelers can utilize this effect to break
Mira
the
cómo
bricks
corre
that
la
would
Dori.
normally be difficult to hit quickly.
Dale, Dori,
It's
dale.
like a bonus attack.
Va.
So, travelers will need to select characters
Ponte
of the
un
right
anemo, que
element,
corren más.
equip the appropriate modifiers, and use different elemental
Ah,
reactions to
lol.
break bricks
Claro, es que
and
cada
score more
personaje
points.
And then
le da un
travelers will be
elemento a
able
la
to use their
barra. El
points to
elemento del
exchange
personaje es el que te va a
rewards in the
caracterizar
event
el
shop,
elemento de
correct?
la barra.
That's right. Also, travelers will have the
Está muy
option
bien,
of
me acabo de
teaming up
enterar,
and playing
¿sabes?
the
Después
event
de
together in
3
co-op
minutos
mode.
viendo esto,
Oh, looks
5.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, in addition to this
Hola,
minigame,
Killer.
the Test of Courage storyline will also contain more challenges. Travelers will even have a chance to meet with some good friends again, so be sure to check out this new event.
Como con lo de la,
Let's
como lo
move
de
on to
Signora, ¿os
our next
acordáis?
Okay,
Que decía
so
que la
next
tumba de
up,
Signora
we
era
have a
una
race
mesa.
event called Across the Wilderness. Your
Vale.
objective, collecting balloons.
Ah, mira, me parece guay
Seems like the
también.
Wanderer's abilities might come in real handy here.
I know, right?
So, in
Son
this event,
diferentes, me
each stage
gustan.
will
Creo que va a
have
estar muy
wilderness
guay.
balloons scattered all around. Travelers will need to find as many wilderness balloons as possible within the time limit to earn increasingly better rewards. So during the challenge, travelers will be able to utilize their character's skills and talents. So it'll be important to assemble the right team depending on the traits and terrain of the challenge area.
Siempre 20.
Interesting.
Yeah, so travelers can also use something called the
20
wilderness
Scaramuts,
compass to obtain various
Xiao y ya
buffs,
tienes el viaje
which
hecho.
include
Si quieres te
enhanced
pones un
jumping
Kazuha, te pones un
capabilities,
Zhongli,
increased
pero ya te lo
movement
pasas
speed,
todo. Con ese
or
equipo no vas a
unlimited
fallar.
stamina, etc.
Ooh, cool.
However, you can only claim one buff during each challenge. You must consume blessed energy to use the compass and gain the selected buff.
Fue un Anemo Boys.
You may
Es
charge
que
the compass up by
100%.
finding wilderness balloons or interacting with blessed energy in the challenge. Or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Me gusta.
Yeah, there are two different kinds of wilderness balloons in these challenges. The first is harvest balloons, which will increase the overall progress of your search for wilderness balloons. The other kind is sonar balloons, which will cause several harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there
Parece
will be
guapo el
5
evento,
stages available for this event,
Yo
and
estoy contenta
travelers
con
will
los
need to
eventos.
consider the conditions
Me falta
and
que nos
terrain
hablen
of
de
each
las
stage
cartas.
to come up with the best way to complete it. Also, travelers may team up in co-op mode for challenges.
Ay, lo podremos hacer
play
en
together.
cooperativo,
Love it.
como a nosotros
Yeah,
nos gusta.
same. Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Exacto.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with the
¡Oh!
new
¡Sí,
race event.
señor!
And of course,
¡Sí,
this is going to be
señor!
another cool event.
Este me
And I, for one,
encanta.
am super excited for it.
There's nothing like a
Este
good
me
co-op.
encanta, gente.
Many of you might already be familiar with this event by
Este
now,
sí.
but there have been a few changes. Let me introduce what
Este me
travelers can
encanta,
expect
o sea.
to see this time around. We can probably skip
Creo
some
que
of
este
the
es uno de los
basics this
eventos que más
time.
gusta
You know,
de
players
Genshin.
either hide or seek. And then
Okay, wait a second. There actually might be some new travelers out there who've never seen this event before.
Ah.
So, why don't you start with some of the basics?
Right, good point. Okay.
¿Quién no ha visto
let's
este
start at
evento?
the
Es una
beginning.
maravilla.
This is a game with a long history in Mondstadt. Travelers
Hombre.
will be split into two different sides, the rebels and the hunter. You will need to use
Qué guay.
skills and master
Sí, es
the
el
art
de
of hiding
el de
or chasing
esconderse.
down
Esta es
others
una
to win
pasada
this
de
event.
evento.
The goal of the hunter is to
Pero una
capture all
pasada.
the rebels, while the rebels run or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the hunter.
Okay,
Me
that's
mola
straightforward enough.
mucho este.
So, what else
¿No
you
lo
got?
conoces, Black?
Well, some travelers may remember playing
Pues
as
este
the
juego es muy
rebels and getting
divertido porque lo
caught
juegas en
early in the game.
cooperativo o
Once
incluso
that would happen, all
con
you
tus
could do
amigos,
is
por ejemplo.
spectate
Puedes
and
invitar a
watch
todo el mundo y
the
jugáis
rest as the others
juntos.
continue
Y se
playing.
trata de ir
But
escondiéndote,
this
ir
time
camuflándote
around, once you're
en
caught,
todo el mapa,
you'll
¿vale?
still be able to
Y hay uno que
participate
te
in
tiene
the
que
match,
buscar. Es
even
uno
in
contra
observer
3.
mode.
Ah, ¿no te gusta? No,
Yeah, it's
de
pretty cool.
verdad.
Once you're in observer mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the illusory beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the hunter. If your beacon successfully tricks the hunter and is destroyed, then the hunter will suffer an obscured vision
Oh.
effect.
Bueno, eso ya me
So,
acuerdo.
even after you've been captured, you can be like a little ghost, trying to help your teammates by disrupting the hunter.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit there and just watch the rest of the match anymore.
Exactly, but what does the hunter get this time? I mean, we gotta keep it fair.
Some new windward arts have been added for both the hunter and
Han
the
añadido
rebel.
nuevas
The
habilidades.
hunter will now be able to use the hunter's net. This net can be thrown and will remove any rebel disguises within its range, and will notify the hunter that a rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it will be destroyed, and the hunter will not suffer from obscured vision.
Nice.
Oh, vale.
So,
Ay, pues está
I guess
guapo
if you
este.
love playing hunter, you'll probably
Mola
love
cuando te
this.
conviertes en lamparita en el
Definitely.
viñedo. Es muy
The
guapo.
skill
Es muy
rebels
guapo
used in
cuando te
previous
conviertes
versions
ahí.
of the game to place beacons can now only be used by players in observer mode. However, the rebels will be able to use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration and remain invisible.
¿Cómo se nota
while
que
you're
saben
around
que este
that
evento juegan? O sea, que este
All
evento
players,
mola.
including your rebel
Porque es el
teammates,
único
will be
que le
unable
añade
to
nuevas
see you while
mecánicas,
you're
nuevas
invisible.
cosas. O
If
sea,
the concealing
lo
beacon is
saben. Saben que
destroyed
este
by the
evento nos
hunter,
gusta.
Then the hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time. Sounds pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Estoy
So
flipando
even
de
if
que
you
le
end
den
up being
tanto
captured by the hunter
protagonismo
at the
y
start
de
of the
que le
game,
den
you'll still
tantas
be able
nuevas
to participate
mecánicas.
and assist
Saben
your
que este evento
teammates.
o sea,
And
habrá gente que no,
primo
pero
gems and
que este
other
evento gusta
rewards.
mucho.
The good
Y me
stuff.
parece muy guay,
Be
que
sure
se
to
lo
check
hayan
it out.
currado y que hayan hecho
Oh, that's
cosas nuevas y
awesome.
le hayan
Seriously,
añadido. Me
I
parece
can't
muy
wait to play
guay,
with friends.
la verdad.
Okay, our next event is a combat-based event.
Time for some combat!
Whoop, whoop.
In a
ver si
forbidden
entiendo.
place warded by dust and sand, mysterious
Creo que
foes
los
have assembled
champiñones van
lines of
algún día.
fortifications
Yo creo que van a
to
volver,
stop your
Estaba muy
coming.
guay el evento de los champis también.
That's right, a new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3.
Es que el de esconderse es un evento que está muy
But
guay.
this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes awaiting you in the Misty Dungeon. Each has a different ley line disorder, and travelers will have to adjust their teams according to the disorder's effects and the distribution of enemies. There will also be trial characters for you to select from as well. After entering the domain, travelers will need to go and complete 3 challenges to collect ancient runes.
Eso es aquello de las ruinas, ¿no? O sea, lo mismo, pero en otro escenario, no está mal.
Also, throughout the trial, additional benediction mechanisms and challenges will appear. Travelers may choose to interact with these to increase the ley line disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me, I'd say just go for all the challenges.
I
Está
know, but
bien.
travelers should keep in mind that the challenge objective for each trial might be different, so be sure to check the objective and aim for that while proceeding. In terms of rewards, travelers can look forward to winning primo gems and other various prizes. Yes.
Ooh, I like prizes.
And
I like
last
Primo
but not
Gems.
least, version 3.3 will also have leyline overflow events.
Lo de siempre,
Travelers
el
can look forward to
más,
saving their
que nos den
resin
más
and
en las
earning
líneas
more
de
and
ley
more
y
and
supongo que también en
experience
talentos.
Nice, that's awesome. That'll be great.
Esto
for
es
all
como
the
el evento de
travelers out
Inazuma
there
que te
still
van a
leveling
semana
up
de
all their new
papel.
characters.
Sí, pero en el desierto.
And even if you don't need those
Exacto.
resources now, it's always good to stock up and have
No
more
quería
on
tirar por
hand,
escara
am I
porque
right?
quería ya te
Yeah.
digo que Azuja, pero es que
So,
está muy guapo su
travelers
gameplay.
looking to upgrade their
Amiga,
characters won't want to miss this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good stuff.
necesitamos
In addition to the
protogemas,
new
gente.
version's limited time events,
¡Oh!
version 3.3 will also
¿Cómo que
be adding
limitado?
a new
¿Cómo que evento
permanent game
limitado?
mode called Genius Invocation TCG.
Genius Invocation TCG!
Pero ha dicho
But
limitado,
before we get into
¿no?
that, let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code. Yay!
Slap that code on the screen.
O sea, van a hablar de las cartas, pero ha dicho que es eliminado. Pone permanente, ¿no? No sé. He entendido... Ah, es que a lo mejor ha dicho ilimitado y yo he entendido limitado y he dicho, ¿cómo que limitado? Limited lo mejor. Ahí pone permanente, exacto. A lo mejor yo lo he entendido mal, gente. Lo he entendido mal, puede ser. Puede ser que lo haya entendido mal. Más les vale. Estoy recogiendo las protos. Vale, gente, ya tenéis los 3 códigos. Los voy a poner aquí. Los tenéis por aquí. Y si ponéis exclamación códigos, ¿vale? Os sale. Os salen los 3, ¿vale? Para el que se los haya perdido, salen aquí.
Welcome back, everyone. During our journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation TCG. So next, we'll introduce this card game that's been taken to bat by storm. In the version 3.1 special program, we already revealed that Genius Invocation TCG will be a card game where we can challenge various characters and NPCs or battle against your friends.
Vale, podemos jugar contra nuestros amigos, pero... ¿Y el PvP? Sin el acento. Tremalin lo puse ya sin el acento porque casi todo el mundo lo escribía sin el acento. Entonces le quité el acento al de esto. Sé que se escribe con acento, pero yo se lo quité. Así.
It turns out that the Crocodile King was King Deshret's viceroy, who battled an opponent named the Ibis King. During the match, the Crocodile King fell prey to his opponent's scheme and was sealed away in the Casket of Tomes.
Ouch, game over.
After being unexpectedly released by the kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to gradually climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
Estoy poniendo también los códigos en Twitter para que los vea todo el mundo.
Is about to release a hit light novel series based on Genius Invocation TCG.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for Yai Publishing House.
Maybe. But anyway,
that's
the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be. Though it's probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while you were telling us about the story, I was over here researching the rules to the game. Basically,
Nos va a
Genius
enseñar
Invocation
las reglas, ¿no?
TCG is a game where you use a constructed deck of cards to duel against an opponent. The objective is to defeat all of your opponent's character cards.
That's right.
Also, there are many features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay, so it shouldn't be too hard for players to get the hang of.
Right, I even saw some elemental reactions in the gameplay.
Yup, a constructed deck must contain character cards. And as you might expect, these character cards have a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst. So when a character card deals elemental damage to an enemy, it will cause them to be affected by that element. Then, you can switch to a character card of a different element and use their abilities to trigger an elemental reaction.
Wait, did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this, Max.
Heck yeah, I am!
Me gusta,
I like card games!
Who doesn't?
So, in Genius Invocation TCG, all actions require you to spend elemental dice. Each round, both you and your opponent will roll 8 elemental dice. Each of these elemental dice can have any one of 8 elemental attributes.
Hold on, but
Va con
there's only
dados
7
también.
elements in the world of Teyvat.
You're right. So, in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni element. The elemental dice required for a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's element. So, for example, a Pyro character like Diluc needs either Pyro or Omni elemental dice to perform an action. Clear now?
Yep,
Vale, o sea, esto va a funcionar con dados. Es decir, si tú, por ejemplo, usas un personaje que necesita piro, vas a necesitar dados de piros para que este haga un ataque. Es decir, no te va a servir de nada tener dados electro, no vas a poder hacer una acción con el personaje de la carta si no tienes el elemento del personaje de la carta. Me parece muy guay.
As your level increases, you'll be able to challenge more characters and NPCs.
El primer día me enchufo a esto, que bueno.
Cards or other rewards. Lucky coins can be exchanged in the event shop for cards, or can even unlock dynamic skins for certain cards.
Dynamic skins?
Esto
Those are cards
es
that have moving
buenísimo.
illustrations, right?
Y el gato
That's
es
right.
buenísimo.
All character cards can unlock a dynamic skin. After
Y estos
unlocking
puntos se
that, there'll
consiguen
even be a cool
jugando.
bonus animation whenever you cast that character's elemental burst.
Cool.
And if you're confident in your TCG skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level, you'll even unlock a matchmaking mode. So be sure to give it a try.
Travelers should note that playing against your friends or other travelers
Lo
won't
quiero
count
ya,
towards
ya
any
lo
leaderboard
quiero,
or
gente.
provide any rewards.
Tenemos que jugar
So
cartas.
you can relax. It's all just for fun.
No, just for fun no.
That's everything we
Eso es lo
have
que
for
dicen los
Genius
perdedores.
Invocation
Just for
TCG,
fun.
and that
Aquí
brings
vamos
us
a
to
ir
the end
a
of
tope.
today's special program. So, what did you think?
Why does it have to be over? There's so much
No,
that
ya
this
se
version has to
acaba.
offer.
Yeah, I can't even
Esta
take
me
it
ha
all in
gustado
right
mucho.
now. I'm just super stoked.